Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gender of Sex podcast. I'm Janhavi Sharma.
And I'm Shreya Viswanath Basu.
And today we're going to be talking about something really interesting, something that affects half the population of the world. We are going to be talking about the cost of being women: emotional, monetary, physical, all of them. So, Shreya, should we dive right in?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on, what are some of the things that really inconvenience women,
Yeah.
in terms of the product and marketing industry and bits and
Absolutely.
bobs?
And I think, you said that it's monetary and social, and there's a lot of aspects to it. I think I'm just going to take it top down and talk about the
Yeah.
monetary, but how it also affects. I think one of the big things is pockets
Mhm.
in our clothes.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't know what the history of the pocket is.
Yeah.
I want to be very clear
Yeah.
about that. But why don't women have pockets
Mhm.
in our pants? And if we have pockets, they fit nothing. They don't
Yeah.
even fit your phone properly. Sometimes you have the lining of the pocket, like they'll make the design, but there's no pocket
Yeah.
actually to put anything
Yeah.
inside. And I've actually had this debate with someone, with a man who said, "Oh, then why don't you buy, women's
Clothes.
products like pants with pockets, or
Mhm.
why don't you work to design those?"
Yeah.
I said, but that's not how the consumer base is built.
Yeah.
Branding is not built like that,
Yeah.
right? There's so many industries that run on the fact that women cannot carry
Mhm.
their things in their pockets.
Literally, the one that's screaming out to me right now is handbags.
The handbag industry.
And like all kinds of bags, like obviously there's now more so probably there are some sleek looking bags being marketed to men just for fashion purposes, but historically bags have only been marketed towards women.
Yeah.
Luxury, designer, baguettes, clutches, sling bags,
Yeah.
backpacks, handbags, tote bags, everything, significantly have been marketed towards women.
Yeah.
And we're basically made to believe that we need to buy stuff that we don't need to put in a bag that we don't need.
Yeah.
The whole problem would be solved if we just had a few more pockets.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't need to, then comes the makeup industry and all the other industries that tell you what you can put
Yeah.
in your bag. So I'm not trying to
Yeah.
get into that. But like an example of how it was not accepted for
Mhm.
men was, I think in Friends, in one of the earlier seasons when
Yeah.
Joey was going for an audition, he carries a bag with him that Rachel gives him.
Man purse.
Yeah, and he's just made fun for it.
Yeah.
Like made fun of her. And it's like, you can't wear that, or can you take the bag out for the audition? Or his friends
Yeah.
make fun of him for it. But like, it's so convenient. I can keep this and this and this in it. So there is convenience to it, but it's so gendered
Yeah.
that like you can keep your
Yeah.
things in your pocket. So
Absolutely.
if it's changing, that's good.
Yeah.
But I do think it's
Yeah. I think it's getting there, but at this point, right, we're made to believe that we need uh, these handbags more so for the purposes of leisure than for the purposes of utility. And
Yeah.
now I guess, the idea is for us to have the it thing, have what's new, what's trending, what
Yeah.
brand is essentially marketing something specific, whether or not we need it.
Yeah. Also, I just want to, like, now the trend has become that your bag has gotten smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love the trend. I love the small bag. But I just want to pose the question out there.
Yeah.
How many women who are going on a night out with a male friend or a partner or a boyfriend, how many times have you asked your partner, someone, to
Yeah.
keep something in their pockets? Because your small bag can't fit everything you need.
Not your wallet, not your phone.
You can put one card, maybe one phone.
Yeah.
You know what? Your phone.
That's
one
it.
phone only.
I know.
Yeah.
So it's quite ridiculous.
Okay,
Yeah.
what else is a product like this that you think is very, very inconveniencing to women?
Well, this might be quite controversial, but wedding wear, right?
Yes.
So I think wedding wear is something, that's obviously been marketed to us as something that, oh my God, we need something for every occasion. And obviously, Indian weddings are long, they last a few days. There's quite a lot of functions you have to attend. And this whole idea of not having to repeat your dresses or your costumes. And especially if you, sort of attend multiple weddings in a go, if it's a friend group that's, suddenly getting married one after the other, you don't want to repeat
Yeah.
your outfits within same groups. Or also, if you've posted a photo on Instagram, you don't want people to see the same outfit. And obviously, wedding wear is expensive, not just for people getting married, but also for people attending the wedding.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's more of a pressure on women to be wearing different saris, different lehengas, different outfits for every single occasion across every single wedding they're attending, and not having to repeat what they're doing. And I think that is more so monetary than anything else. And it puts a different kind of burden onto us to
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't think men have that much of an
So
expectation.
men will wear, they have a very nice suit. They'll change the color of their shirt, and that's enough. Or the color of
Die.
their pocket square or their tie. I think the social aspect of this is that we, as women,
Yeah.
also, I don't think I go to a wedding and I'm looking at a man's outfit and saying it's good, bad, beyond.
Yeah.
But I am looking at women's outfits for either inspiration for another one or saying
Yeah.
that's nice or what's not nice. I think socially we're also somehow conditioned to critique
Yeah.
women more
Yeah.
for what they wear.
Absolutely.
And I think we are in the process of
Yeah.
unlearning
Yeah.
that bias that we
Yeah.
have, but of course it exists, and so the industry runs on that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going for a wedding, which is like two weddings, if I'm going back to back and it's
Yeah.
not the same group of people, and if I'm not posting anywhere, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
I'll repeat my outfit.
Hmm.
A year later, of course you can repeat, that's
Yeah.
fine, but it's wedding season, that October onwards when all the weddings start in India.
Yeah.
And you go back, especially if you're like
Yeah.
living like us in the UK. Whenever we go back, if it's wedding season, you don't have
Mhm.
time to get things made. You don't,
No.
and you're back to back doing all of this. So yeah, that's definitely, and that's monetary cost is also very
Yeah.
high of that.
It is quite high. And I think I want to sort of just segue into another point, taking from what you said about, how we're more prone to critiquing women for
Yeah.
what they're wearing.
Yeah.
And that's obviously true for media, that's obviously true for life. And I think there's also the right kind of body that should be wearing the right kind of clothes.
Yeah.
That's a big idea that we've sort of internalized. And we're
Yeah.
like, oh, if someone is of a certain size, too skinny or not skinny enough, they shouldn't be wearing certain type of clothing.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of Indian clothes like saris have blouses that are obviously short. You have lehengas that have
Yeah.
cholis that are short. And why should women be targeted for wanting to wear something specific that they want to? And I think the industry, I guess, like you said, plays on it. It plays on people wanting to wear certain kinds of clothing and also being expected to wear certain
Yeah.
kinds of clothing. And yeah, it's
I
quite
think it's getting better though.
I mean, yeah,
Not it's not good, not good, but in a way that we're having the conversation.
yeah, it's a
And
step
yeah,
forward.
that's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're on that
Yeah.
hopeful path
Path.
to potential progress. I don't know if we'll get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Do we have any more examples?
I actually have one
Yes.
more in my head, which is potentially even more controversial than wedding wear. Bras.
Yes.
The concept of bras, first, we don't need them. Okay?
No.
Especially people who are not big chested like me, we don't need them, right? The fact that I started wearing a bra in like 9th grade,
Yeah.
nobody asked me to, but I was like, no, that will make me more of a woman.
Yeah.
Or I'll feel more like,
Yeah.
more feminine about it.
Yeah.
I don't think a bra is needed. So first, the whole concept of the bra, I know you have some views on this also,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna not take away from that. And then on top of that, it's the cost. It's so expensive.
It is.
And yes, you can say that you can buy, very affordable bras as well, of course, but they play on the idea that you can get fancier bras, you can get nicer bras, and like I've spent so much money on bras, and I'm like, my size better not change. Like, what will I do?
I know.
I don't want to become bigger. I will not, like, I cannot afford to buy that many new bras, right?
And obviously, any bra wearers would agree. But yeah, I think I completely agree with you. I think that we have been made to believe that we need bras.
Yeah.
And this can be traced back to the colonial period in India, where the British brought in the idea of wearing blouses under saris, because the sari was obviously worn all over India across different parts in different ways. And at that point, women never really wore blouses under their saris, and the women, the British brought in ideas of modesty from the Victorian period and Victorian ideas, drawing from corsets, and they said no, the chest has to be covered. Which I find quite ridiculous, since that was essentially the origin story of what bras are today and how they're used as modes of control to exercise control over women's bodies, and how they are supposed to exercise modesty on themselves by making sure they don't have nip slips, by making sure their chest isn't going everywhere, their breasts are sort of contained. And I find that quite I guess restrictive and problematic.
And that's so interesting, because the concept of a bra comes from modesty, but now it's used as one of the biggest tools to sexualize
women.
A woman.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like, what kind of bra do you wear?
Lacy,
yeah, and
padded.
And I do have to say that I've never worn a bra for a man. Like, I don't care what they think. Like, the bras that I wear is from me. Like, I like them, and that's how deeply conditioned it is in you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know, it's like the whole lingerie industry, again, targeted towards women. Women are supposed to be wearing certain kinds of lingerie to make themselves feel more attractive to their significant others, who in this case is expected to be a man, right? And there's not enough lingerie marketed towards men to entice women, I guess. So yeah, I guess the very tool that's also used to control you is also a tool that sexualizes you and objectifies you. So it's ridiculous.
Okay, I think that's a really fun place to segue into why are we dressed like this today, Janhavi? Maybe you can tell our 8 viewers.
So the reason that we're dressed in pink today is because we're going to be talking about something called the pink tax.
What's the pink tax, Janhavi?
Well, Shreya, the pink tax is not a legal government-enforced tax. It simply refers to the cost of goods and services that are marketed specifically towards women are often higher in cost as compared to the same goods and services marketed towards men. They would obviously be at like a lower cost and devoid of the pink tax then.
What's an example of that?
So it could essentially range from anything to do with like skincare, beauty products, and go straight away to menstrual products and condoms, among other things. So there's, it's a wide range of examples that could come under the remit of being under pink tax.
Yeah, so the pink tax, actually, the way the research has been done, it shows that women pay on average 40% more than men for similar products. And these products would include things like shower gels, lotions, shampoos, razors. And the argument does come that, aren't the scents different? Isn't it, shouldn't it be more expensive for women? Because it is different than it is for men. And the 2 points that really stand out to me there are, first, it's the cost of branding that the woman is paying for more than the cost of the product. It doesn't take that much more to make the product, and even if it does, it's probably not 40% worth. It is marketing of a more floral, bottle, or sometimes pink color also. And the second thing is, I've actually used shower gel that's marketed to men as well. It's really nice. Like, it smells good, and it's very different smells and scents from what they provide for women. So that distinction is like, if you like a more minty, like, fresh kind of spearmint flavor and scent, not flavor, scent, in your soap, which is nice after, let's say, like a run or a workout, when you want to just feel fresh, you cannot buy that for women. And if you buy it for like a woman's shower gel with that scent, it's more expensive than if you buy that scent for men's
Really?
Yes. So that's one thing. I noticed it in the grocery store. The second one is razors. Men have to shave so often they shave their beard, right?
All the time.
Like, women shaving their legs and arms is just for the gays. It's also just for what people think of body hair, right? There's a whole perception of body hair there. Why does it have to be more expensive? First, and shaving gel, by the way, if you buy shaving foam for men, you'll get this big bottle for that's like a Gillette big bottle is about £5 or something. But if you want to buy shaving oil or gels or creams for women, they'll be this big in a bottle, higher price. So I think those are some examples to me that really stick out for pink tax. I think we're going to talk more about cost of things and how it is, and it may not always come under pink tax. So don't call us out for being like maybe not completely correct. But I think this is how we're also understanding it and going through the learning,
sort of navigating the space.
Absolutely.
I think one really interesting point that you brought about was, how a lot of women's products marketed towards women smell floral, and very like, essentially flowery and naturey, whereas products marketed towards men, could be more like, minty or
sandalwood.
Like sandalwood.
You'll smell like
found in
outdoors.
nature, or like coal. Like coal is a big one that I see, like charcoal and everything. And I find that quite interesting because when you look at perfumes marketed specifically towards women and specifically towards men, the idea is that they assume a sort of heterogeneity that exists, right? In the context of how it's assumed that because a woman is wearing a floral perfume, it would be attractive to a man.
Isn't
And
that crazy?
because a man
Yeah.
is wearing something that is not
But
floral,
that we
that's
would
got,
like the scent
yeah,
of.
that we would be attracted to the scent of that. And it's assumed
Yeah.
that there is an innate heterosexuality when you're marketing products specifically for men and
Yeah.
women also, which
Yeah.
I find completely bizarre.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I ask you now to get
Yes.
to, because you also work in this space, right?
Mhm.
So Janhavi is a sex educator and she works with different groups of people in workshops and sessions like that. To understand more about the inequity in menstrual products and like sex ed
Yeah.
class products, you know, with
Yeah.
that can include, of course, any type
Yeah.
of contraception
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
XYZs. Like, what is your
So,
view on that inequity? And some
so
part of it is pink tax, and some part
yeah,
of it is
it's obviously just general
yeah,
inequity.
yeah.
So talking about menstrual products, right? Historically,
They should be free.
they should be free. They should be
I
free.
don't choose to menstruate.
No, and it's something that's unavoidable. Half the world's population goes through it, and so menstrual products should be made free and available to every single person. But obviously, as we know, we don't live in a world where menstruators have access to period products and disposable or reusable period products. So just to give you a little bit of a statistic, and please, you can find all the information in the description, all the sources in the description from where we've quoted these statistics and the data. So on average, menstruators would spend 300 to 400 rupees a month in India on disposable menstrual products. And over the years, imagine if you start menstruating at 12 or 13 and you stop menstruating till you're,
Let's say
you're
30 years.
30, like 30 years from there, that is a big cost. It adds up, it accrues,
And I think
it's.
the interesting thing is that you're saying in a month it's 300 to 400
400
rupees on average. But you had also read a statistic about what is the minimum wage. And I don't know if I remember that number, but
180,
that's the interesting
180
thing,
rupees.
right? So
Yeah.
it's interesting
So
to see how that works out.
Yeah, and it's quite crazy. And I know previously there was a 12% GST that was imposed on menstrual products in India, but in 2018 that was revoked.
Yeah.
It's a step forward, but obviously menstrual products are still not very affordable, especially if they're reusable menstrual products. So yeah, I think that is a big one. And I think when it comes to essentially contraceptives, right? The
If
most,
I could just
absolutely.
continue about the menstrual products.
Oh, sorry, absolutely, yeah.
So the menstrual products in a lot of countries were taxed as luxury goods.
Oh.
For the
wow.
longest time, when they started being sold, it was luxury goods. But over the years, and there's a paper which we'll share at the bottom, but for US, UK, Australia, Germany, all these places no longer tax it as a luxury item, and India doesn't either. But that's where it started out. Something that happens to women or menstruators every month was a luxury item. So just I want to put that into context before then, and now you can move into talking about contraception.
Should it not literally be essential? You can't help it. It is what it is. And we're meant to scrounge and find pads and tampons and menstrual cups and anyway, moving on from menstrual products, when we talk about contraceptives, the most common contraceptive and most accessible contraceptive is condoms. And I think a lot of organizations across the world would distribute condoms for free. There is an organization in the UK called the Terence Higgins Trust, and doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're an individual, whether you're a group. And because, as Shreya mentioned, I do some sex education, so I most often than not rely on them to source condoms and some other bits from that I often share with my cohort.
I just want to jump in there to talk about some costs associated within contraception industry. Condoms, like you said, Janvi, are the most commonly used form. It's what the man uses, right? Almost everything else was on the woman. The coil, the diaphragm, birth control, and or the morning after pill if they've had to take it. Now, I haven't done all my research, but I have gone to the pharmacy and looked at some of the prices of these things. You get condoms in a box. Like, what is the price if you had to buy it?
I think 10 to 14 pounds.
10 to 14 pounds for 20?
Probably 15 to 20.
Okay,
I'm not
so
sure.
let's say that's 1 pound per
Yeah.
condom. Okay.
Yeah.
If you look at the morning after pill,
Oh.
which is invasive, which if a
Yeah.
woman takes, she's going to have side effects,
Yeah.
and like you will
Yeah.
have a extra period,
Yeah.
more products. Okay, you will have like, I mean, there's a whole. If you look at the list, I think there are
There's a bunch of side effects. Yeah.
And to get one morning after pill, it's 10 pounds. The same, that's for one
Yeah.
mistaken night potentially, that a man can buy 10 condoms for the same
Yeah.
price. That's the inequity, and that's maybe not pink tax specifically, because they're not marketing the same
Yeah.
products to different genders,
Yeah.
but it's how they look at sex for men and how they look at sex for women. And it's a stark cost. And by the way, the 10 pounds morning after pill
Yeah.
is the cheaper one that you take, because there are different types of morning after pills also. You can take it after 3 days or after 5, up to 5 days, up to 3 days. And so they can go up to 20 pounds, which is a ridiculous cost for one pill.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. It's like they're choosing to market sex and sexual activity to men and women differently.
Yeah.
And again, what this has taught me, and this conversation has, sort of made me realize, is that once again, the burden falls on women.
Yeah.
The burden of contraception falls on women, right? Because men can just go out and buy penile condoms for themselves.
Yeah.
But accessing contraceptives that are not external, that are meant to be inserted into your body in some capacity or are hormonal, cost more. There are more barriers to having those conversations with gynecologists. There's a certain age that has to be adhered to in terms of when accessing contraceptives, and also it affects women's bodies differently. Whereas
it's all invasive,
completely, and it's and when you have to pay extortionate amounts of money for something like this, it really sort of breaks your spirit.
And that's what you think the norm is, right? So I think us talking about it, questioning it, is now finally saying, okay, so that's not how it should be or needs to be,
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually have had a question form in my mind based on the conversation we've had. Looking at the cost of being a woman and pink tax, what do you think is the pressures or the societal norms, or however you want to phrase it, about how women look? What are the products, the brands, the advertising that say you have to look a certain way or dress a certain way or whatever it is? But how do you think that exists, and how do you think it impacts daily lives of women?
Okay. I definitely think it exists at a very large scale, especially in a country like India. We are obsessed with looking young. I'm not saying that's limited to just India as a country, it's probably universal. And the idea of looking young is specifically, again, targeted towards women. Women need to look young no matter how old they are. This whole idea of not aging, well, you are going to age. You are going to change. Your body is going to look different. And I just cannot tell you how frustrated I get looking at an array of anti-aging creams that say they're going to deal with your wrinkles, they're going to make your skin stretchy, it's going to make your skin smooth, it's going to make it glow. I don't have time for it. I think aging as you are should essentially be how it is. That should be the norm. We shouldn't be forced to put things on our faces, put things in our bodies to make ourselves look unnatural, I guess, in a way, because everyone ages and everything ages.
So I just have a question for you on that.
Yes.
Because I agree there are a lot of anti-aging creams, and I'm like straying a little bit.
Yes.
But do you think it was because women had to look marriageable, or they were being judged on how attractive they were for the husband, who never had to be young? Like it was fine for 40-year-old men to get married to 15 or 20-year-old women. And do you think that's one of the reasons for it?
I think there's definitely weight in that, because I do think that, like you said, relationships in which historically there's been a lot of age gap between when men and women marry, and also there's no expectation for men to always look young. There is a larger expectation for women to always look young, and I think that stems from them always being able to look attractive, and young means attractive in this context. And also, this may be a bit of a stretch, but this is only my interpretation. I think that associating youngness with fertility, with fruition, with the
Mm.
idea of being childbearing, being able to bear children, coming of age. And I think youth is often associated with fertility and the ability to be able to produce
Very
children. And
interesting.
I think a woman's value in India is often judged with whether or not she's a mother. I think motherhood is a path that many Indian women, all Indian women, are expected to take.
Yeah.
And I do think youth or female youngness is often associated with the ability to be, to be able to produce children, to be
Yeah.
young, to be pretty and attractive. And I think it may be a stretch, but I think that is probably one of the reasons why we really want women to look younger.
Yeah. And like you said, one of the products for that is anti-aging.
Yeah.
Another one that I think, and I'm gonna go a little bit into it because I think it's getting better, but this need to have not have white hair for women. I think men for a while have been rocking
Yeah.
the silver hair look.
Yeah, silver fox.
Yeah, and I'm very excited by the silver sisters that are
Yeah.
now finally accepting it.
Absolutely.
Because women have, including I'm sure, like women in our lives, like
Yeah.
my mother, my aunt,
Yeah.
my aunt, people around me
I know.
have been coloring their hair
Forever.
forever. From the time they started getting gray hair, they color their hair.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if you want to have a certain color of hair, it can be blonde, it can
Yeah.
be pink, it can be black, it can be brown.
Yeah.
That's your own
Choice.
predicament and choice, and I
Mhm.
respect that.
Yeah.
But when you have to do something on a monthly basis because you want to look younger, I think that's where maybe the problem that we're talking about comes in. Like now, my mom is a full silver sister, and she's rocking it, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't color her hair. Sometimes she'll put a little bit of a pink or a purple or a blue for fun, but she has gray hair.
Yeah.
Okay. She also doesn't have long hair, which I think is very much associated with.
Yeah.
You said really as if
I
you
don't
don't know
know.
my mother.
I don't
Anyway,
know. I don't
continue.
know.
She knows my mother. Okay?
I was saying really to the fact that purple and pink. And
Yeah,
I think it came a bit later.
Yeah. She knows my mother well.
I do. I really do.
But this idea of you have to have jet black long hair. So what I'm really now enjoying seeing is a lot of my friends, because now I'm also 30, and I think because of stress and GM and a bunch of things, a lot of women do have like white hair from 25 onwards. They start getting like a couple of strands, and the women who are keeping it and rocking it, I'm really enjoying seeing it, because I think that's a blow to the patriarchy without us knowing that we're doing it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the trying to look younger.
Yeah.
But we're not giving into it.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's really interesting. And that actually made me think of something else that is pretty endemic to India, among other countries, I guess. When if you're a certain age, right? If you're, say, in your late 50s or in your 60s, I think the expectation to look younger drops then.
Yes.
And you are expected to fit into the role of an old woman.
And I think that's what you were saying before. Once you have born the children that you were supposed to, then you should not actually try to look
pretty or
or
anything. Wearing red lipstick or doing things that are associated with young women, which is completely ironic, because in the middle period, in the middle part of your life, you do everything in your power to look a certain way, to look younger, to look fairer, to have to put on anti-wrinkle cream on your face, XYZ. And then when you reach a certain age, which is essentially after the age of fertility, when you're menopausal, when you're towards the end of your prime, I guess, you cannot essentially look prettier. And
the problem is, when you're going through menopause and you're perimenopausal, there are a lot of side effects of that as well. You do gain some weight. There is a lot of changes in your body, and you also are so short, and you have so many mood swings because your hormones are changing after 30 years of being a certain way. Of course, you're like, I just don't care.
No.
So women reach that point, which I feel is so sad, that you have to go through so much to get to that. I'm enjoying seeing more women say, I don't care what you think at an earlier age.
100%. I think it's about accepting the fact that a lot of these things have been taught to us. We've been socialized to believe, essentially companies socialized to believe norms that have been fed to us from a very long time. And I think it's high time that we start questioning them, and we start putting
Our foot down.
ourselves,
Yeah.
forward and thinking about us before we think about what people, expect of us and what they want us to do in life. Yeah, so it's
100%.
I know.
Okay, I think that was actually a very rich
It was.
discussion. And you may not know this, but it has taken us multiple takes because we are very attached to this topic. So let's do a little bit of a funsy,
Yes,
quick
ma'am.
funsy to end this.
Absolutely.
My question to you is,
Yes, I'm ready.
what is a pink tax or a product marketed to women that you do like?
Well, after bitching about it in the whole session, I'm going to be a hypocrite and say handbags.
I
Or
do like
bags.
handbags. Yeah.
I do. I really enjoy them. And I like the little Y2K ones. I like the little leather ones. And I want different ones. But yeah, I do like handbags a lot. I think they're, I like to have a range of them, from like being utilitarian to being just for show.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's a guilty pleasure that I've given into at this point.
Yes.
And okay, so my question to you is, if there was one particular product, right, that's currently marketed towards women, I want you to pick one of those products and market it towards men.
Hand cream. It's a small one. Why is hand cream marketed for women? Like, doesn't everyone want soft hands? Like, this is not about looking a certain way. It's just like, don't you feel good when your hands are soft? I use so much hand cream all the time. Men should also use it.
Hand cream, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then the Bollywood part of our funsy round. When I say pink tax, when I say femininity and like, feminism and feminine forward and all of those, if I say all these words, what is a Bollywood movie that comes to your mind?
Queen.
Okay. Yes. And the movie that came into my mind, I'm only saying it because it's so different, is Aisha.
Well, you're more on theme with pink tax.
But that's so interesting, right? I say that you've said a movie that breaks out of the box. Yeah. And I've said a movie that fully fits in the box. Okay, why did you, in like less than a minute, why did you think Queen?
I thought of Queen because I think that, she grows in the film. The character that she plays, Rani, she goes from trying to conform into everything that is expected of her as a woman, and then she realizes that that's not the mold she wants to fit into, and there is no right way to be a woman. She defined her own way of being a woman, with farting and burping that Vijayalakshmi taught her, which are conventionally unfeminine attributes. And I think she broke out of that mold, and she didn't let society dictate the way that she had to be. And I think that's why I thought of it. It may not be directly pink tax, but it's breaking out of the shell. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Why'd you pick Aisha?
Pink tax, right? She's driving the Beetle, the Volkswagen Beetle. She's wearing very nice clothes. They're going to Emporio Mall.
Shopping, luxury.
I feel like that's the trope, right? Completely. So I like how we've approached it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting place to leave it because it's some food for thought. The same prompts.
Can I admit something to you?
Yes.
I've watched Aisha like 5,000 times. And I'm not saying I'm going to stop watching it, but yeah.
No, we also will still buy handbags. Yeah. I'm still going to, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to wear a bra. I'm still going to probably color my hair for fun sometimes. Yeah. I am going to buy all the, fun creams. Yeah. Sometimes you'll do it, right? It's not to say that we're not a part of the system. It's just to question the system that we're a part of.
Absolutely.
And see how do we also grow out of it.
Yeah. And I think like if the system is built on essentially misusing thoughts and implementing patriarchal values, then we probably have to find some ways of misusing the system itself.
Yeah. I don't know why I said it before, but I'm not going to color my hair. Like that's one thing I've decided. The day I start having white hair, I won't have coloring. I won't color my hair then because I don't believe in a monthly upkeep in a parlor. Yeah. Like, that's just not who I am. No. What I can do on my own is what I will do. Yeah. I can't go to the parlor that often.
No. But yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, yes. I mean, I think I'd like to have some salt and pepper hair at some point as well. Yes. Yeah, I think they look cool.
Yes. Well,
anyway.
Amazing. Yes. I hope we've left you with some food for thought. Yes. And if you have any other products or services in mind that you think conform to pink tax that maybe we didn't even cover or brush upon, please do leave it in the comments. Yes. It really will help us grow. Yes.
And also, we're going to pin all the sources in the description. And, well, we'll see you next time.
Yes. So, like, share, and subscribe.